Yeah, I don't think my family owned slaves, so I think I'm good.
No, they definitely did.
No, they definitely didn't. My family, Polish, and the other half of my family, like probably the mob.
So just like serious alcoholics, you just beat the shit out of women all the time?
Just the mob. Well, my grandfather worked in textiles in New York City, so
that's cool.
That should tell you everything you need to know.
That's cool.
Everybody comes to New York.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Not anymore.
No, I know.
It's a great place for crime. What you guys are talking about? What?
Gambling.
Trying to make
Gambling?
money.
Have you ever gambled before?
I used to go crazy with poker, like very crazy.
Like what do you mean?
I've had like $5,000 on the table. Like
real $5,000.
Oh yeah, real $5,000.
But not that was all yours. Like you put in a certain amount, you got up to $5,000.
No, it was all mine. It was all mine.
So you sat down and said, "I'm going to bet $5,000."
Yes.
Okay.
On a hand of poker?
On a tournament of poker.
Oh, so that was the ante.
Yeah, well, it's like a $5,000 ante, and then there's
it.
a certain pot. Like first place gets a certain amount, second place gets a certain amount, third place gets a certain amount.
Yeah, that's called a tournament. That's called it's tournament play.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I won a bunch of money, and then I lost a bunch of money.
So it wasn't a tournament.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like 2 years of doing this.
Okay, so you did place in a few tournaments.
Yeah, no, I won a bunch of money, and then I lost a bunch of money, and then I doubled or nothing to regain the amount of money that I lost, which will remain nameless, the amount that was. And then I got it all back, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this again.
Did you eat Oreo cookies while you gambled?
It was before my time. It was before the Oreo cookie times.
It was rounders.
How old were you when this was happening?
Oh, man. I was in college, so it was 12.
He was on Bodog.com at 12 years old.
Poker stars.
Yeah, they start young. They start young with the fucking...
That's still a thing, though, like the online poker thing.
Can't
I
do it.
see kids doing it at the Kava place.
I can't do it. I can't trust digital cards.
And they play like 25 games at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of their minds. They don't know what they're doing.
Poker was such a big thing, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yeah.
I did it. I think it was Bodog, right? They were in the middle of the seas where it was legal, right? Mm-hmm. And somehow I got an account. I definitely wasn't 21. Did a couple tournaments, just like this gentleman over here, won some money and then lost some money. And then I played a tournament once where a guy got four of a kinds in a row.
Oh yeah,
and
you told me
I said,
about that.
I'm done.
Shit.
Because that's impossible. Because I think people had the software. Absolutely.
Here's where I would always get fucked with the online poker is like they'd have the casino also on the side.
Oh my God.
So it's like I would do relatively well playing a couple of different games at once on Poker Stars, and then it'd be like, all right, let's play some blackjack. You know,
blackjack is fast.
They link the slots with that right away. You can just go right in and do the slots, and it's like, you know.
There was one in Saratoga. I thought it was very, very odd. It's all virtual. And the blackjack table is everyone gets the same hand. And now you're playing off of that hand against the dealer's hand. Mm-hmm. But if there's an ace-3, everybody on that table has an ace-3. I thought that was the oddest
weird
fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Everybody's just playing the same game? Like, why don't you just put everybody in a separate table with the dealer and just be like, hey.
I don't know. I mean, it was virtual, so I guess there was some kick. I'm sure it was like blackjack hot streak or something like that. Whatever the name was.
Yeah, but I guess maybe it's just like an easy way to like, I don't know. That's just weird.
Any of those like where it's like advanced level, or I got to think it's not like an old school game of gambling, I'm fucking out on.
You just don't want to think when you gamble?
No. A lot of those games, I don't know the rules, so I just walk by them.
Oh, yeah. The slot machines, too.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you could just push the button and wait for the money to come out, but it's all so fucking complicated.
Nobody knows what they're fucking going for. I'm sorry, with the X's and the line, the three lines.
You just hit the button and just wait for it to
No
fucking
way.
jangle.
And there's so many different games. Aladdin, all these games. Nobody knows what they're going for.
The only like slot game that I'll play is like the old school one where you actually got to pull on the handle. And then it's 3 sevens. That's it.
That's it.
Because the other thing with these things now is that they like make you bet more. Like they
they want
entice
the
you. Like
max
it's
bet.
not just like a quarter, a quarter,
Yep.
a quarter, a quarter. Like, they're trying to get more out of you.
Yeah, because they put the X's and the 3 lines, and you could hit on top, you could hit over here.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Just more pings, more reloads, more dopamine.
And people literally sit there for hours. Old people.
You ever see those like you go into like a gas station or like a convenience store in like Pennsylvania or like whenever I travel through the country or when I'm on tour, and I'll see like these random ass convenience store gas stations, and they'll have like slot machines like there, and I'm like,
Yeah, a little table poker, virtual poker.
They're just slot machines. It's just put the money in and press the button and wait for the dopamine.
It's a waste.
And it's like I just don't get it.
Get yourself some fried chicken from the counter, a big gulp, and fucking sit in front of that slot machine. Now, let me ask you a question. You just said when you were on tour, what constitutes a tour? Like how many stops makes it a tour? Is there a definition?
Not really.
And I got a follow up to this also.
Sure.
All right.
Well,
I
I mean,
have one too.
my answer to the question would be what constitutes a tour is like, I'd say it's, some people would say it's an amount of miles that
Okay.
you're traveling.
All
Some
right.
people would say it's an amount of stops. Like if you're making 2 or 3 like stop, if you're just like going to a show and coming back, that's not a tour. It doesn't
Okay.
matter how far away it is.
All right.
There's a weekend to tour.
Yeah. Like, so then there's like weekenders.
You just made up a new term.
Yeah. Well, like some people would consider a weekender a tour. Other people would just say that's not a tour. That's a weekender.
Okay.
But I don't know. You can ask somebody. They're going to give you a different answer.
Well, have you ever looked it up? Like, have you
not.
ever looked up to see like what the definition
No,
of
I
a musical
don't.
tour is? Would you say a musical tour?
Well, I mean,
Well, a
it could
tour.
be a book tour. There could be any tour.
There's
Okay.
plenty of different types of tours.
But all right, so if a weekender, that might be a thing. I'm not sure.
It could be.
But like, what's the if you're going somewhere and you're playing music in a band by yourself, whatever, you're on a book tour. If you're going somewhere for a weekend and you're stopping at 4 or 5 different places, for me, it's stops. I think
I think it would be stops. The
in
miles,
different cities.
Yes. The mile thing did make sense. I like that definition, but I think it stops.
Yeah,
Because then you're touring. You're touring the neighborhood. You're touring the area.
but what's the abbreviated version of that? Is it the weekender?
It could be the weekend.
Probably the weekender.
Mini tour? What
Brief
is it?
tour, the mini tour, the
Or just, I don't know, like out of state show or, whatever you want to
that's way
say.
too long.
Yeah,
of a
it's too
sentence.
much, too
Yeah,
much.
you can't say.
Gotta keep it short.
We're going to a few different states over the course of a weekend, and we're going to play a few shows.
Yeah, I think
I would just go with tour at that
when
point.
I hear he's going on tour, I don't want to see him for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
When he's back, leaves on Tuesday and he's back on Saturday, he didn't go on tour.
Played a couple shows.
Well, it's like there's a certain credibility to saying that like you were on tour. It's like everybody kind of chases that.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to
Yeah,
get at.
you
That's
can't
exactly
just-
what we're getting
can't
at.
just steal it.
All right,
No,
follow-up
everybody does.
question. Follow-up question. Here's another one that's got a lot of gray area. A festival, right?
Oh, so much.
A music festival.
Everybody's
Okay.
What constitutes a music festival?
these days.
Multiple days.
Fucking anything. Everybody calls, like there's people even on Long Island that are just like calling like, hey, I booked a show at a venue with like 6 acts, and they're calling that a festival.
That's not a festival.
And it's not. It's not. It's
an
just a
event.
show, Like I understand that some people view a festival as like, oh well, there's like the stage and like the vendors and there's like a sea of vendors environment. Like I kind of get that, but like
Caramel
I don't know.
apples.
Gotta
yeah,
have a tent.
I
Gotta have a
guess
tent.
like there's a part of me that understands
People
that
selling
where it's like
Spider-Man acid. It has to like there has to
Spider-Man,
be
yeah, there needs to be
aspects of it.
Spider-Man acid.
I don't think it's multiple days.
No,
I think at one point maybe it was, but like I lean more towards the base level of a festival is multiple stages
Stages. Okay.
and then multiple other experiences at that event.
Yeah, well, it's like we
Face painting,
we
whatever.
played the seafood festival like 2 weeks ago, and there they had one stage, but they took over the whole park, and a bunch of vendors. Blue Point sponsored it.
Yeah, I know all about
everything.
it. But that's a seafood
I
festival,
feel like Blue
not
Point
a
calls
music
everything
festival.
a festival.
I don't know. Really? That's a seafood festival. That's different. Like that, the main part of that festival is not the music.
Yeah, so you're
It's
saying
oysters.
so for a music festival, what makes a music festival is that if you're specifically saying this is for music, then there needs to be at least more than one stage. But if it's like anything else, and it's just like the Strawberry Festival or like a seafood festival,
now you're in
whatever,
a whole
then
nother
it's
world.
whatever.
That's a whole nother world. The music one, I think it's got to be, if the predominant thing people are coming for is music, it's got to be multiple stages. Doesn't have to be multiple days, I don't think.
Yeah. I see that.
A lot of gray area.
I like the multiple days. Just
No, you
make
don't.
Sure you do.
You do, and you did, but you don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would be tough now. It would be tough now. I couldn't even go one day to the one that's here.
Which one?
For Great South Bay?
Yeah, I couldn't even go to one day there. They can't even get a lineup that consists of anybody good.
Anytime I see like a festival where a band that I really want to see is playing, and I'm like, yeah, that kind of would be cool, that goes away real fast.
What kind of a band would you want to go see at a festival? Because I have a question about this. What's one of your favorite bands?
Well, it's hard. It's not hard, but it's like, are you trying to say like it needs to be a big band that you really want to see? Because that's not
No,
really
I'm
the way I
saying
look at
what
it.
band would you want to see outside headlining at night
What do you
in
mean?
a festival?
Mount Joy.
Okay, so that's not a real popular band. I was thinking of somebody
That's what
like,
what I'm saying. But like those are the type of bands that like draw me to the festival, not Red Hot Chili Peppers.
So when it is
festival.
when it is Red Hot Chili Peppers or Pearl Jam or Nirvana or whoever it was, back in the day, I don't really care for those shows because 99% of the time they're going to play their top 12 hits.
Well, also
So it's not a show.
Yeah,
for
but
me.
also too, it's like you've been there the whole entire day.
Yes,
You're probably absolutely fried by the sun, drugs, and alcohol.
true.
And it's like that's not a good way to see. Or you got to show up late. You know.
You got to show up a little bit later.
Yeah.
You can't show up there at 11 o'clock. It's way too long of a day. Festivals were a fucking blast, though. I had a blast, but it was
still are.
definitely only a 3-year period. I feel though, like you do it, you go hard, and then you're like, you know what, I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's like the festivals you go to like see the music, and then like me, I love camping. I will camp for any reason at any time. And I love going to places where that camping is a thing. I feel like as much as it's cool to like, go to an isolated part of the woods and like camp there with like a couple of friends, like, drink a couple of beers, like just kind of enjoy the serenity of nature. But I also really, really enjoy like going to a festival environment, camping at the festival environment, and then it's like you're in the camping environment, you're enjoying that part of it, and then you also have this like avenue to go experience music and and have fun and do the drugs or whatever.
I was gonna say,
So you have the entertainment level. You're not showering. You're shitting in a bucket. Like those are
And
the
there's
things that
no
are
way
appealing.
you're going to sleep in a tent sober. If anybody could walk into a tent and just go to sleep, you're lying because you're getting trashed.
you gotta camp. You gotta camp more. I mean,
Yeah, you go.
The other side of it is it's much safer than being in the woods somewhere where you're getting murdered by bears and fucking serial killers.
If you light a big enough fire, nobody will touch it.
But in that camp, you might get murdered by somebody on like LSD or like fentanyl or something.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, both of you guys don't have kids, but I liked camping as well. However, the worst noise that you could ever hear while you're camping is raindrops on top of your tent. That's the worst sound because now your day is kind of ruined and you definitely have to go take a piss in the rain. And 2, going with children. Like the first time I ever went, I went to a ton of festivals. And then we also had a party in the woods that we just used to go every year, spend 4 days up in the woods. When I first went with my kids and realized I had to feed them the next morning, oh my God.
So you have to like make breakfast.
Yeah, like you got to figure it out, whether it's go find fucking donuts somewhere
No, you gotta
or
show up
you
with the
got to
grill.
cook eggs and bacon on a fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, got to be prepared
That's
for
the
this.
way. That's the camping way, Kurt.
No, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that with like 20 people where we could all cover each other.
Yeah. Well, that's the camping way.
I'm not doing it with just me, my wife, and my 4 kids. It's a lot of pressure.
Or you just got to like pre-make bowls of cereal.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking ahead. Literally woke up. I'm like, they're gonna be hungry.
Yeah.
They're gonna.
And there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go, and then everybody's gotta pee.
Listen, I enjoy being outside. I would even venture to bet that I would like sleeping outside.
Yes.
In a controlled environment. But I don't like being anywhere for that amount of time without like access to bathrooms and showers and fucking 7-Elevens.
7-Elevens, yeah.
I glamped for a wedding once, and I'll tell you right now, that really fucking throws camping out the window.
Oh, you mean like one of those teepee ones, like those high end ones?
Yeah, it was a nice one. You get a nice bed, and you get a little bit of electricity.
Yeah.
And
Or
that really
they have
goes a long
facilities there too, actual shower, actual
Yes.
bathroom, I mean, some people talk shit about glamping.
Because it's a terrible name.
Yeah, the word.
Yeah, well,
It's a
it's
horrible
it's a
word.
terrible piece of branding. But
Yes.
despite the branding, like it's like if that's the experience that you want, like go out and get it. Like
Yeah.
no one's gonna talk shit about whatever. Like I don't know. Like imagine if I stayed at a Marriott somewhere and people were like, oh, why didn't you just go stay at a fucking shitty motel?
red
Like
roof.
you would have saved so much money.
Right.
Like
Yes.
people aren't gonna do that. So with camping, like why is that the thing? Like I guess there's this whole mentality of like, oh, you gotta rough it out and be a man or
Right.
whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But like, I've camped in the freaking dirt with nothing and no resources, and I've glamped with as many resources as possible. Different experiences. You gain different things from both of them. Equally as enjoyable for me. And if someone's like, yo, I don't want to be in the fucking dirt and have to throw cereal at my kids' faces, then
I feel like
go
a
glamp.
camper or like a Airstream or one of those things is much safer bet.
Yeah.
Like an RV or like a
Guess
camper.
what? It's more comfortable.
Structured walls and
Yeah.
those are nice.
You don't hear the sounds at night as much. The fucking crazy ass sounds.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of a layer of protection that's not like basically underwear material between you and the fucking grizzly bears.
There's always one point in the weekend of camping where you go, what was that?
Yeah.
Anybody else hear that?
Oh, bro. Being in the fucking darkness is not much scarier things.
No.
Like, think about how conditioned you've been over the course of your life, whether it's movies, your grandma's basement, whatever, to be afraid of the dark.
Yes.
That shit never leaves you.
I agree with you 100%.
Some people are better at like faking it, that they're not afraid, but they're all afraid.
Do you think everybody's afraid?
I definitely do. Outside in the woods with just like moonlight or maybe no moonlight.
There's so many sounds.
There's nothing scary.
It's just a frog. I've never heard a frog make that noise before.
Frogs make wild
They
fucking
do.
noises.
And you know what? So do other animals. They all make wild noises.
Yeah.
And they're just letting you know that they're there.
The inability to see like what's out anything more than like 10 feet in front of you.
Yep. Not a fan.
That's like evolution, like we grew up being like, yo, I can't see that shit. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm out. Like, that was all. It's all just, the people that
hide.
felt that way and did that way. Like, they're the ones who lived. They didn't go walking towards the bear that's growling at them, being like, oh, that's how you're so cute. Let me give you a fucking hug, because then they'd be dead.
Yeah. I wonder if people over the years like now have a tougher time seeing at night because of like all of the man-made light.
Definitely.
Like back in the day, did like the fucking
Probably, yeah.
Indians
Yeah.
have better vision at night, regardless of whether.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
you're sure.
It's all the
Yeah,
all the
that's-
laser
I mean-
shows.
Well, I mean, the way you just said it, I mean, it just totally makes sense.
All right.
How long does it take us to focus when you're into a room that's dark?
Yeah.
I bet you it was like that. Half the day was dark.
Fuck these lights.
Maybe maybe they all fell asleep during the day. Maybe they were only up at night.
Maybe it wasn't bright out during
Yeah.
the day. Maybe it was dark during the day. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe their day was night and their night was day.
Well, they were, as soon as like the sun
Jesse
went
here
down.
right now? How do you know it was light out all the time during the day?
They saw the darkness and they were just like, yep, nope, I'm done with it. Not even fucking with that shit. And they went to fucking sleep and
I
then
think
woke
they
up.
made so many sharp tools.
Yeah.
All day they're just in a fucking cabin
Ancestors.
sharpening things.
Somebody the other day was talking to me about they were worried that, not worried, but they were like, their name is like a real white, like Anglo-Saxon name. And they were saying like, sometimes I think about potentially like my family might have,
A little slavery and
Yeah.
a little ownership.
and I'm like, no, without a doubt. Like, definitely.
What was it, Smith or something? What was it?
Yeah, something like
okay.
that. And I think that there's a lot of that, though. Like, I mean, you can't think about that.
Yeah.
You think somewhere in the lineage of your family they were slave owners?
I mean, you know what? I don't really know. I don't know. The only ones I know of are like the ones that opened up businesses. Did they step on a couple backs on their way to open up the businesses? Probably.
Yeah.
People are just like used to be just.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't have one of those plantain houses though. I don't
Plantain.
So,
Plantation. You mean?
plantation.
No,
house.
made
You
of
mean the
plantains.
plantains? Like, fucking-
They made them out of
I
plantains.
don't like plantains either.
yeah, make me a house out of plantains. I'll eat my way out. What?
You know what I meant? I don't have any of those houses in my name. God
My
damn it.
wife, one of her cousins, I don't know, she was into like the ancestry.com thing for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And one of her cousins, his wife was like a researcher and retired, and she went like deep down the rabbit hole of like
Her name.
No, the husband's family, which is like
okay.
so nice and selfless. You know?
yeah,
But
yeah.
this woman was like so intense. And we met her a couple of months ago. She wrote a book and produced like 25 of them. And it's her family history. And it's like this big.
Wow.
And it was cool. Like she did a lot of research. They traveled all over the world to like different churches to find the information and
Damn.
dedication. And all I could ask at that table was, we met them for dinner. It's my first time meeting them. Super nice people. They're from Florida. They drove all the way up to see a couple of people, my wife being one of them, who like helped them out.
Right.
And all I could think, I'm sitting at the table and I'm like, so what's the fucking weirdest thing?
What's the oddest
What's
thing?
What's like
the
the
juice?
most savage thing?
Give me the juice.
Because they were like, they're like heavy Germans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on.
Come on.
What
What did they do?
How far removed were you from you know who?
From what?
That's what I want to know. Like, if I was to dig into my family history, I'd want to know that. Like,
You want to know the juice?
My dad's
Yeah.
brother's wife did that, but she didn't travel. She didn't go and like go to churches and meet. But supposedly there's a book, but I haven't looked at it yet. But she did all that for like him, for the Schnatz name, and she wasn't a Schnatz.
this is the same thing.
That's crazy.
Same exact thing. I guess,
Maybe she's just trying to find out like who she's with.
yeah. Or if there's any like hidden money.
Right. Ooh,
Yeah.
Treasures.
Any jewels.
Yeah.
She wouldn't tell anybody.
Secret treasures.
Yeah, any gold
treasure
coins
maps.
somewhere. Doubloons? That's a funny word.
Doubloons. It's only used in seafaring. Like, last time I heard doubloons was like SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wait, there was one more thing I was going to say about the fucking family history thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think my family owned slaves, so I think I'm good.
No, they definitely did.
No, they definitely didn't. My family, Polish, so like Ukraine, Warsaw, and the other half of my family, like probably the mob.
So just like serious alcoholics, you just beat the shit out of women all
Just
the
the
time?
mob. Just the mob. Well, my grandfather worked in textiles in New York City, so
Oh, that's cool.
that should tell you everything you need to know.
That's cool.
Everybody comes to New York.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing.
not anymore.
No, I know.
It's a great place for crime.
Great place for anything.
I was
think.
there the other day. I went to this fucking honky-tonk show.
How was that?
It was interesting.
Honky
It was
tonk?
very interesting.
What's
yeah,
a
yeah.
honky-tonk show?
It's like
I think
country
square
music.
dance.
There was dancing.
Oh, like line dancing and shit.
There was line dancing. Yeah, it wasn't like advertised as line dancing, but it was happening.
But they suckered you into it when you got there.
No, you didn't have to do anything you didn't want to. But so it was like basically like a Knights of Columbus in the
Okay.
middle of Brooklyn or Queens. It was in Ridgewood. There was 400. I found out there was 400 tickets sold.
Holy Jesus.
But it was set up just like a Sweet 16. Like there was a dance floor in the
And then
middle,
just a bunch
and
of
then
tables.
the big like 12 tables all around, and then a stage which was really cool. It was like right out of like the 60s looking stage with like a curtain in the back and
Okay.
like a sign that said like honky tonk or whatever it was, and they went fucking forever with this music.
Did you sit with people you didn't know?
Yeah.
How was that?
Like I went with some people that I knew,
Yeah.
but it was like a table of like 12 people. Nobody really talked to each other because the music was so loud.
Okay.
There was never not music.
All right.
So there's two DJs I think who put the show on, and they're like, cowboys.
A lot of yeehaws.
A lot of that.
A lot of yeehaws.
There was an Indian cowboy who was there, who was dancing.
Love that.
Pretty hardcore. And then there was the crew of line dancers who I spoke to one of them, and she said, I was like you guys like know each other, obviously, right? Because you're in like sync. I know the dances are the same, but she says, yeah, like we go around and do this everywhere.
They go on tour.
Yeah.
They go.
And they go on tour.
Weekenders. Weekenders.
They gotta go to regular jobs on
Yeah.
Monday. They just-
Yeah, I ask him how many miles though.
But people were fucking straight up decked out as cowboys and cowgirls
Any Spurs?
in the middle of Queens.
Any Spurs?
It got me thinking. I don't know. It was dark. I couldn't see. But what got me thinking was, like, what would have to happen in my life that I would just completely change my persona, like to be something else, like a cowboy. All of a sudden, you come in next week and the flip is switch.
You're not that person. I
a
think there
cowboy.
are people like that.
How often does that happen in their life?
If they're like
Depends.
that, all the time.
Like they're changing personalities?
I think so.
Some people are, they're chameleons. They'll just flip through.
I think
various
so.
page of
They
shit.
find something that they think is cool and they feel comfortable, and then all of a sudden, like one little thing will happen, and then all of a sudden they want to be like Star
an
Wars
astronaut.
freak instead.
Yeah.
Or an astronaut.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You know
think
how
it's that
like
many,
you look through a yearbook and you see, or you just like look through the photos of people's lives and they have like one look at one period of time and one look at a different period of time.
Yep.
Like I feel like that there's like a ratio of like how many times that happens to people in a case of their lives, and some people are like maybe like 10 to 1. Like through the course of your life, like you're changing that and changing like what you do, how you dress, and what you do like 10 times in the course of your life.
Right.
Some people are like 5. Some people are like, I grew up in a small town and I will die in that small town. They're like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yes.
And there's some people that are like 50. They're just always, they're cycling through friends, they're cycling through situations, they're cycling through people.
I could see when you're younger. And you know what, though? It's like, in fairness to these people, they're definitely young. Like, I was old.
Right. They were just trying it out.
They were in their 20s for sure, most of them. But, like, how many times can you do that until you settle into, I'm a make my own shoes and bread type of person?
Some people are always searching for something.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people are always searching. I would get tired of that search, obviously. And you just fucking meld into whatever you become.
Just meld into fucking Kirkland dad.
Eventually it all comes back to Kirkland.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mostly couples, a lot of party, like a lot of
Mostly
like, big parties.
lesbians and homosexuals.
Wow.
Everybody was gay.
Really?
Most
Really?
people were gay.
Homosexual cowboys. It's probably the only place they could go.
I'm pretty sure that like the Brokeback Mountain thing was
Yeah,
real.
Jake Gyllenhaal sold that.
No, there was nothing to sell. Like cowboys back in the day were gay as fuck.
Yeah, you could be right.
Who were they fucking? They were either fucking each other or they were like raping Indians.
Well, cowboys
fucking
only
the
hung out
cows.
with cowboys? They
Or-
had to be ladies.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Had to be maids. Aren't
Not
they maids?
out
Aren't
on
they
like
maids?
yeah, but think about the definition of being a cowboy. You're out like wrangling
They're
cows.
out going on tour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're
Cow
gone
tours.
all the
Cow
time.
tours.
See, I didn't see that movie. Is that what they're doing? They're going out to get like
Yeah, you gotta like follow the cows, and then
from
it's
one
either
place to the other.
well, you're like hurting them. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Demolishing the grass.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So it's either cowboy fucks cowboy or cowboy,
Fucks horse.
Fucks.
horse. I didn't think of that one. I was gonna say like Indian girl.
Or the cow. Or the cow.
Yeah.
No, you don't fuck the cows.
Yeah.
We draw the line.
That's the money.
Horses, okay.
That's their income. You don't mess with the cows. That's disgusting.
But yeah, it was it was interesting. But there was a lot of, I would say, less gay men, a lot of women. You could have done well there if you were a lesbian.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was an experience, and I'm here for experiences.
Yeah, and you're never gonna have to do it again. You're not
Yeah.
signing up for that shit again.
Maybe. I might go again.
Okay.
It's you know what it is for me? It's like how late it is. That's really the only thing I can't handle.
Did it like start at 10?
Well, it started at 7:30, but
Okay.
we didn't get there till 8:30, and like the DJ was going at 8:30. So I had thought that the first band was already done, like, but he hadn't even come on. So the first guy gets on, he goes for 2 hours,
Oh my gosh.
and then the DJ comes back on for another blah, and then the next band, who were fucking awesome, they went for a couple hours, and I got
long
home
time.
at fucking
long-
3:30 in the morning.
Oh
the
my
event?
gosh.
How long was the event? Like, when did it start?
So I asked
It
somebody
was a
there.
festival.
And a tour. Never left his building though. I had asked the guy, or somebody had asked the guy, like who was the promoter, who was like taking the tickets at the front, how late it goes, or like they asked how long the second band that was on. They go, oh, don't worry. Like when they're done, the DJ goes to like 4 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, but the main reason why it took me so long to get home is I had lost no idea where I parked my car. No idea. Like we were late, like that situation where like you're kind of late, you're not sure what the vibe is, so you're like rushing to get there. Then you got to find a parking
I'm
spot
shocked you don't ping it.
on a Friday night. Oh, hold on. On a Friday night in the middle of like, Brooklyn where there's no parking
Yeah,
spots
it's
because everybody's home already.
It's rough.
So finally find a spot, and then it's just like rush to the place to get in, and like, wow, didn't think about where I left my car
Right.
whatsoever. So I thought I knew, and we're like walking around for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was like, my fucking brain went off, and I was like, my AirPods are in the car. And you can do that, like, find your iPhone thing.
Yeah.
And I was not close to the car whatsoever.
Oh my god.
It was like 8 blocks the other way.
Yeah, shit.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. So 3:30 I got home, and then I've been a bag of shit ever since.
I haven't been home at 3:30 in a very long time. Man, that's a long night.
Yeah.
I took the train home from the Pearl Jam show at like 11:54, and I was like, I'm taking a nap.
There's nothing. It's a thing that's like a common. Everybody knows. Like, you need your sleep. It's fucking. That's real.
Yeah, you definitely need your sleep.
Any sort of like if I pass 10 o'clock, I'm in trouble.
Do you think you're gonna be a napper when you get older?
I don't know.
Everybody's a napper.
A lot of old people in my
Whether
life
they
are
want to or
nappers.
not. Sometimes you get to a point where you just start taking naps and your
I
body's
have a rough
done.
time waking up from a nap though and being a decent human being. Like, I wake up really fucking disordered and cranky.
You ever tried like to sleep cycle a nap?
I don't know what that is.
Like I think your body goes through like a whole sleep cycle every I forget, it's like 40
Rob,
minutes
you're
or
talking
like
to a guy who gets about
an
3.5
hour.
4 hours of sleep a night.
Okay. Well, your body goes through a sleep cycle. It's either every 40 minutes or an hour and 20. I don't remember the exact time, but it's like if you wake up right as the sleep cycle fully completes itself and it ends, you're
good.
like more rested. But if you
it.
wake up in the middle of that, like you're all fucked up and discombobulated by it. So like one of my friends, he's like really into it. And like he has like an app that literally is like, all right, I'm going to sleep at this time. What's the optimal time that I should wake up
How does
so
he
that I
know
can get
how
a
long
full
his
sleep
sleep cycle is?
Well, it's like a determined like value.
Sounds fishy.
I'll look it up.
We don't look anything up on
And if he wakes up directly on the time of the sleep cycle, he shits his pants. All of a sudden.
His penis is this tall.
He gets a boner and shits his pants at the same time.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
It's the most exhilarating feeling ever.
I've trained.
But it rarely happens. It rarely happens. It's twice a
You gotta
year.
be down to the millisecond.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. I feel like everybody eventually naps. They all get. Eventually, your body is just like, yep, no, you're sleeping.
I think it's a good thing for you, but my like history of naps when I was younger would be like long naps in the afternoon, and then there's no coming back from that. You can't recover from like a 3-hour nap.
No.
And try to re-wake yourself up and like be a decent human being again. No chance. But now what happens to me is like I find myself falling asleep during the day. Like sometimes I'll fucking go home, walk my dog, feed her, and I'm just sitting on the couch and she'll like come and lay on me and I'll sleep for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And it's great.
And that's great.
It is great.
That's the best.
But you can't lay though.
No,
you can't
pull the covers up.
You can't get comfortable. You have to just pass out for a minute.
Yeah, like you get through science.
It's amazing. They do say it's like 50% better for your heart.
Napping?
Health. Napping. If you nap for an hour a day, it's like 50% better or 55% better for your heart.
I could nap right now.
Oh my God, let's take a nap right now. Let's see who can sleep the longest.
Just to be like, what'd you guys do on the show? Oh, we took a nap.
Yeah, the napping contest.
This is a nap show.
You know what's so it's that thing happened on Friday night. Thursday night, I was up till 12 o'clock because of the football game. And then I slept for like 11 hours on Saturday night, and then last night fucked me again. So like I woke up this morning, I slept for like 4 hours after the Jets game.
Yeah, no, you need sleep. I could already tell that.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, you're not walking around happy.
And my wife's away. She's in Disney World right now for work.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's
free
shooting?
house.
Yeah.
You
She's
gotta take
shooting.
care of
She's
your
shooting
dog.
down there.
What?
She's shooting.
No, she's for her other job. What?
What kind of jobs bring you to Disney? I never had a job like that.
Corporate jobs.
God
You're in
damn it.
the worst possible position. You're in the worst possible position in the beer industry because, like, I used to go everywhere.
I know you did. All these stories.
Everywhere.
You don't think the salesmen go anywhere anymore? Not really, right? It's got to be local.
Unless they, like, maybe win a trip.
Right.
You know, like, they'll have an incentive for them, which 90% of them would probably say, I'd rather have the fucking money than go on this trip.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Of course. I mean, you've been to Super Bowls. You've been to.
So what changed? Like it just became a lot less about travel and like the beer industry.
Well, it's not a good
Everything's selling itself.
Yeah, it's not a good industry to be in anymore, and there's not as much money as there used to be.
Okay.
But he works in operations side of it, so Those people, they're like,
so you got to be around.
here's a fucking case of Heineken for Christmas
Yeah.
that's fucking
Expired.
2 years old.
It's expired. It's definitely expired.
We don't even make this brand anymore.
Fucking gross.
And this is non-alcoholic. What the fuck?
If you don't want that shitty old case of beer, you can have a case of Nestle water. That's $2.99 if you want that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Even the time that I was in it was docile. Like it used to be. That industry used to be crazy.
Yeah. No,
You
it was
know?
it was definitely up and coming, and then saturation. It's like everything else.
Yeah, it's just like the craft, like all the craft stuff kind of took away and like sort of just disseminated it around.
I think it's that. I mean, that was fun. That was like a fun ride when craft was, growing. It was cool. But then it was like fucking seltzers were the biggest thing, and then that destroyed everything. And it's always lost to liquor,
Like
Beer
liquor always
itself?
just had it.
Yeah.
Beer itself always loses.
Beer
to liquor?
loses share, whatever they call it, they call it share of throat. How many
Okay.
people are drinking? Every year, beer loses share to like liquor or FMB or like the seltzers.
And that had to really hit hard when tequila came back, right?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was talking about that last night with somebody where I was saying that, like, where the fuck, what happened to tequila? It used to be like people would shit all
It was
over
fucking
it.
Entourage. I'm
You
telling
know?
you right now, agave and Entourage. Those are the two things that sold tequila and made people put it in a glass and think.
I think just celebrities in general.
Yeah,
Like,
celebrities
you're
came
not
on.
a legit celebrity if you don't have a tequila brand right
Yeah.
now.
Some have vodka.
Yeah, but even
But
those
Clooney's
guys
at the
fucking.
top. Clooney's
just
at the
fought.
fucking top.
Vodka's old school. Now it's
Yeah.
tequila. I know what you're saying with Entourage. Like Jason, what we were talking about was Jason Momoa was just in Montauk.
That was the blackhead kid, right? The chubby kid that's now skinny.
The guy who's a giant fucking monster. Jason
Yeah,
Momoa.
Aquaman. He's
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Oh, that guy.
yeah,
That
yeah.
guy scares the shit out of me. He's huge.
He was
He's
out
a
there.
monster.
He's got a tequila. He was promoting it.
Of course he does.
Drinking the Montauk pumpkin beer too while he was promoting it.
He's got whatever he wants. That guy. I'll tell you right now, if there's a guy who has anything he wants, it's Momoa. When does he go into wrestling?
Was he already? He looks like he already
He probably was.
He does look like he was.
Probably did some like underground circuit shit, like coming up. Like a lot of people do acting. They get their start in like those circuits and shit because it's pretty much just theater.
Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
being a wrestler though that never fucking makes it and they lose every
It's
week.
terrible.
They
It's-
plan to lose every week. How do you go about that life? It's probably $50.
Yeah, and you're getting the shit kicked out of
Shit
you.
Yeah.
kicked out of you.
Not even $50. It's like the phrase in the industry is like a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah.
know.
Did you watch World Wrestling Federation when you were a kid? Of
course.
Do you remember the Brooklyn Brawler?
Oh, yeah.
That was the guy. He would lose every week on Saturday afternoon to somebody new. I think he won once, and
Yeah.
I was shocked.
I kind of liked him.
Yeah, he was cool.
Like you always, he
And
won
he
one
became
time.
like
right?
knuckleball guy or something like that. I don't know
Was
what
the
he became.
Brooklyn Brawler different than the Junkyard Dog?
Yes. Brooklyn Brawler was like a white guy. Curly hair, I think. I would have to check that, but he was definitely not the Junkyard Dog.
I thought the Brooklyn Brawler was like bald,
No.
like shaved head.
No, I think he had hair.
All right.
We're going to have to check him out. But Brooklyn Brawler was the known loser of most fights.
The heel. Yeah. That's what they say.
He did win once, though.
Wrestling passionate fucking fans. Mm-hmm. Rick Rubin, he loves wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like his
I
favorite
think
form of entertainment.
it's scary as shit. Older people who watch that now. Like, I could literally say I was in the beginning of that, which is fun. I mean, I was in the beginning of the World WrestleMania
When
days,
it got big, yeah. Hulk Hogan.
and it was fun. It was awesome. But as soon as I fucking turned 11 and realized it wasn't real, I was out.
yeah, but I think
I was
that
out.
yeah, but I think that like the people that like it, first of all, obviously they know it's not real.
Yeah,
And they
which
just
makes
see
it worse.
Well, it's just theater at that
You know,
point. You know,
I'm in
they-
that camp. I think there was a moment where I realized that it wasn't real and there's a lot of fake within it. But like, I've also been in like the stadiums and like when you see it live, especially like I've been to some rock concerts and like I've seen like some of the stuff that they do and the lights that they pull and like the cameras that they're pulling and like all that stuff. I've seen it in a billion different ways. But WWE and like wrestling, their level of production is like better than anything
I
else.
get that,
You know,
but
and it's like it's theater. It's American theater at its highest level. Does it like I don't go to a theater and when I don't know, the guy in Shakespeare stabs the king. You know, I'm not like, oh, he didn't actually stab him. Like,
Right. No,
I don't
I get
care.
that.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
the theater,
people know.
you know.
Yeah, I think it makes it weird. And there's not
It's
a lot.
definitely weird.
Not a lot of chicks watching it, so you're definitely surrounded by a bunch of dudes.
It's definitely a sausage fest.
Jim Duggan, fucking.
Yes, the dudes love that shit.
This is a perfect segue. Jesse and I were talking about before, and I'm going to ask you this question first, is like alter egos. Like we were talking about,
Yeah.
like, so the wrestling, obviously, it's like, do you think that those people get to create their alter egos?
I think some people.
Some people have the
If
creative
you're a
control.
star, yes.
Sometimes it's Vince literally being like, okay, well, guess what? Like they sit you down in a writer's meeting and they're like, okay, well, this is how we're going to do. Like, I know you've been the hero for a while, but this season you're going to be the
Yes.
heel and you're going to be a new
yeah.
character. We're going to change your name. Like that happens all the time in the industry.
Yes.
So the reason why we were talking about that, though, is because like we were talking about your music and how you have this other name that's like an alter ego.
What's your other
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Rayon.
So what,
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
the meaning of that? What's the meaning behind that?
The meaning of the alter ego?
Yeah. Or like, what's the persona? Like, what is it trying to be?
What the persona is trying to be, I guess, like, I don't know. I mean, practically, it's, this is the name that I am choosing when I am performing, and this is how I am representing myself through performance.
Right.
Like Prince?
So there's, yeah.
What's
Prince doesn't use
what's
his real
the
name.
significance behind it?
The significance for me is like, this is like a representation of like, I don't know, I'm going to get all fucking hippy-dippity on this shit, but it's like, that's who I want to and aspire to be spiritually. And like who I am is just like my physical form. Like this is just a physical vessel. This is where my spirit hangs out. You know,
Right.
he hangs out in this life, and then I'll die. I'll go into the fucking soil, and some of my spirit will become a bunch of bugs and trees and shit. You know, whatever you people believe in, doesn't matter. But like for me, it's like at this current moment, there's my physical form, which is Rob, and then there's my spiritual form, which is Rayon, and
Right.
that's who I aspire to be, or just kind of just how I think about
But how is it different than you? Like, what do you view that spiritual form as, like, different?
How is it different?
Is it like enhancing your skill set, or is it where you're lacking? Is like
I feel
the
like
perfect
it's like
version?
well, it's like you always imagine like the perfect version of yourself, or like what you're aspiring to, like, and I feel that like that's a named representation of that aspiration.
Is Rayon like a hawk?
It's its own fucking thing. It was
What does it look like?
what does it look like?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of light. It's just a lot of light. Yeah.
So I asked Jesse, I said, like, have you ever thought about like what your version of that is, your alter ego?
Yeah.
And he said, no, I never thought about it. And I said, that's fucking bullshit. I said, you've been thinking about many alter egos for yourself for the past 42 years, if I had to guess. So we were just laughing about that a little bit. And then he texted me on the way back, unprovoked whatsoever. Like, hadn't seen him in like 2 hours. He goes, my alter ego is JV Ultra.
Yeah, JV Ultra.
You know who gave him that idea, dude? You want to know who gave him that idea?
Who?
Boom. This guy.
Boom.
I had to when I put my single up, I was like, hey, I want to put, because Jesse features on the single. And I was like, I'm going to put my single up. What do you want me to call it? He's like, oh, I don't fucking care. So I put his name up as JV, just the initials JV. And then I was talking to him about it, and it's like, yeah, honestly, like you should just call yourself like JV, like just like DJ JV, or like he said like, oh yeah, like JV Ultra, and we laughed.
Yeah,
about
like fucking junior varsity, like not the big leagues.
it. Junior varsity.
And so I like Siri'd him back. I was like, I picture it with like those like mirrored glasses on, right? Like the wraparound mirrored glass. And then like a Star Trek suit.
Oh
you know?
my god, like gray,
But,
gray
like-
zip up.
Yeah, like was it gray? Or like the black, and then they had like a different color, but they were like, there was no, you couldn't tell how they got into that suit. It's like they were almost always in
skin
it.
tight.
Yeah. It was like, did you climb in through the headpiece? How do you get into that? Through the neckline? He said, yeah, that's exactly it, but also lots of cocaine.
JV Ultra. JV Ultra.
What about you? Like, what's your alter
What's
ego?
the
You
alter?
have an alter ego. You have multiple
Guess it
alter
would be
egos.
DJ Love, right?
Okay.
Be,
That's one.
what do you mean multiple? Do I have multiple?
You've got multiple like handles out there in the world.
I mean, I'm probably schizophrenic. But
So
DJ
it
Love's,
like a super schizophrenic or the opposite?
I don't know what I am. I'm a mental case.
Mm.
But no, DJ Love would probably be the world I created. But I don't know.
What about you, John?
It's kind of just hiding from it. It's kind of just like hiding from reality, right?
You feel as like you're hiding, like when you're saying you're DJ Love or anything like that.
I feel like I'm not Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is Kurt? Kurt is like the name that you were given at birth. But like anybody at any moment could just be like, I'm this.
That's what I don't like about
That's
the
what's
world
happening
right now.
right
That's what I don't like about what's happening. Yeah, I heard in fucking Smithtown there's a kid who thinks he's a horse and he actually has hay around his desk. That shit can't happen. That's not allowed, and it's happening.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
no.
I see what you're saying with that. Yeah,
I always thought it would cool. I mean, I kind of feel like it's also like a band name. Mm-hmm. Like having a band name is kind of cool because you get to put stuff out under that name.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Like
it's a brand.
It's a brand. Yeah.
Like you're putting something out under that brand, and
Yes.
that brand is the representation of what you're looking to be as that brand.
Yes.
If you want to make it corporate, but I think that people also just have like, you could start a brand off of whatever the fuck you want. Like you want to just, go online and fucking teabag a bunch of people. You can be like, X capital X lowercase x.
Teabag them online?
Yeah, that'd be tough to do. You put it right on your screen.
That's not mine.
You put it right on your screen.
But you could choose whatever name you want for whatever the fuck you're trying to do.
Yes.
All of my alter egos or like subgenres, whatever you want to call them, I need new ones because all of my old ones revolved around getting really fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of my screen names were always about like how can this guy party or get extra fucked up.
Yeah.
It was always like Bobby Friday Night,
Yep.
Bobby Wang Chung.
That's a good one. That sounds like a fun one. Yeah, no, you're right.
That was my motto back in the day. Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
I got a couple friends that have bad nicknames because of the way they behave.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bode well.
Nah. But my actual like Instagram name now is just John Kelly.
Yeah, it's so.
Does that mean that I'm so comfortable with myself?
I think so.
Yeah.
Let's go.
If that's your
Finally.
I
brand.
think so.
Finally, I'm normal.
I mean, everybody else has it kind of hidden.
Yeah, you want to be some fucking light beam ahead of you.
thought it was
Jesse.
I always thought it
Jesse's
was
wearing a
wants to
fucking
be
Star Trek suit.
Star Trek.
But what is his
And
name?
you're a fucking EDM, DJ. Jesse?
You're just John
Is
Kelly.
he just Jay Viola?
Oh yeah, his is the same too.
yeah.
Fuck.
But it wasn't always.
That fucking theory gone. There's no, forget it. I am a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's cool to just be able to be like, hey, this is my name and like this is my brand and this is what I do. So it's like, if anything, you win.
It's also safer if you do anything bad. Like, like
Wasn't me.
yeah,
Fucking Rayon.
Rayon pulled his dick out.
What's on me?
See,
Can be coming on the counter.
yeah,
Taking on the sofa.
yeah, exactly.
Rayon never has his license.
Wasn't even there. Rob wasn't even there.
I wasn't even there. Yeah, it's just, he came down from the heavens, embodied this body, and I swear it was true.
I'm saying you could go with that. I bet you people do go with that. It's like no.
I mean, it's definitely a defense in court that people use to be like, oh yeah, I'm just mentally fucking, that wasn't me.
Tyreek Hill. He's probably
Yeah.
using that same one too.
Amazing.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
All right, first down, dogs.
First down, dogs. Who
All
are
right,
these guys?
guys. Thanks for coming out. Hello and also
Hello
goodbye.
and goodbye. She still edits it. You can't say it.
I know.